David, you missed so much. Me and Stephanie have
Nope.
already flown it.
Nope. Nope.
When we get to that game,
Chop chop.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nintendo Direct Recap. I'm your host, the enlightened and excited Eddie. Joining me is the one, the only bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig himself. Hello, good sir.
Hello. I don't know if this was a good direct, Ed. I'm not sure. I can't tell.
I have no words because we got our editor-in-chief on our writing team for Boss Fish Network. You guys have seen his stuff. If you not read out his latest about aliens, you need to go check that one out. It's blazing hot. Everybody, please welcome David Lasby. Hello, good sir.
Hey, good to be back. It's been too long.
Yes, it has been just so long.
I think David is keeping the Aliens franchise alive, all by himself. I think he's building an Aliens team within the team. So,
well, I already told him that I'm going to go see the new movie on day one. I'm super excited.
Excellent.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll be around to talk about that.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody. We had a Nintendo Direct, like Nintendo announced it this Monday, and Tuesday it dropped, and everybody was ready for it. We didn't know what was coming, and Nintendo has been quiet, and they talked a lot. They spilled tea, and we all came with our towels and rags to wipe it up, because they did 30 plus some games for 40 minutes, and the first party lineup,
yeah,
good googly moogly, and some of the third party did stuff we did not expect. But we're gonna run down this list. We're gonna start with the first game, because man, Mario Luigi Brothership.
Yes,
it was their first announcement.
Yes, Brothership. So the name, obviously a play on them being brothers, and the whole mechanic is flying around on an airship to these different places, and boats and all these other things. So cool name. First home console Mario and Luigi game, because they've all been on GBA or DS or the handheld stuff. Very excited, very cool. I can't wait. It's one of my favorite series, and it's been 9 or 10 years since the last real one we got was Paper Jam, and that one was like nah.
It seems like Nintendo's really confirming that all of their 3DS, DS properties and mainline console properties are really getting merged into the Switch, and the Switch is the future, right? Like there's no chance that Nintendo decides to, separate those two again. And so seeing things like, Mario and Luigi, there's been some other handheld only ones that are finally coming over to Switch here. It seems like they're really making it clear what their business plan is, which is great, because Nintendo's always had a lot of IPs, and some of their stuff has gotten forgotten or locked on their handheld. So it's good to see that coming over.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say with this game, they're keeping the comedy with it, but the 2-player action team battle parts is going to be insane. It's literally, I always call it Insomniac creativity, because like Mario's going back with his hammer, and Luigi's like, I'm about to hit it, gave him extra power, he spins, he hits the enemy. I'm like, oh, this is about to be super cool with it. Everybody expecting that it's Next Level Games that is developing this game. But we won't know till the game releases. It's coming out November 7th, which then a following game, which we'll talk later, is going to be coming following week.
I need to talk more about this.
Okay.
I want to talk about the moves. The strongly animated moves, the prompting of like 2, 3, 4-step moves, and then Mario does that cool spin kick with the shell. Come on. These are amazing animations. Sorry, I know. There's a lot of games to get through, but I had to point out the awesome animations and stuff. And my kids are obsessed with this trailer. Like my kids are like really starting to come into like, oh, I really love Mario, and my daughter calls Luigi Muigi. I'm like, it's Luigi. She's like, but I like to call him Muigi. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, it's Mario, so why isn't it Muigi? I'm like, oh, fair enough.
She's got a point.
And I actually had to play the trailer for my son before he fell asleep earlier.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's like, Mario video. I'm like,
Oh,
okay. So,
well,
Yes.
it's funny that you talking about the animations, but for as much talk as there's been the last few years about, graphic fidelity on, the Series X and the PS5, Nintendo's been cleaning up on sales and continuing to generate excitement with mid-tier graphics. I mean, it's like it looks great, but they're not trying to make it hyper realistic, and so by leaning into their stylized animations, they're showing a path forward for the video game industry, especially when we have like 7-year developmental cycles and then companies are just getting dissolved for doing okay and not selling like a lot, and Nintendo,
I think 2 companies closed this week.
Yeah, and it's not sustainable, right? And then you look at the amount of, and Xbox had a great showing for the summer games, but PlayStation was left a lot to be desired. But then Nintendo just crushed it, and they're not doing it with next gen graphics. So anyway, thought it was worth pointing out.
I mean, there's a game on it, the last game they showed really looked like, oh my gosh. But we'll get there when we get there. But David, that's a conversation I would like to talk to you about in terms of like how Nintendo seems to be beating the odds of the industry these days. So no time for that now though, because we got more games. Maybe not this next game, but the one after.
So they just reminded us of Nintendo World Championships. NES edition is coming in July.
Oh yeah.
So you guys could go pre-order that.
Love the NES art, like guide style screenshots they were showing in here of like tips and tricks are all like old school Nintendo Power pages. It looks like super cool.
Every time I think I see this and hear it, I keep thinking of the Wizard. That's all I keep thinking of.
Yeah, but Ed, did you see there's Mario 2 challenges in here?
Yeah.
Like real, like US Mario 2, the real Mario 2, not Lost Levels. Go away. David, you're muted. You're muted. Yep.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'm having mic problems all night. I didn't even push mute. Sorry, guys. The thing that really stood out to me about that trailer too, you think back the last few years with like Mario 35 or F-Zero 99, right? Like people love those online competition games with retro games and they beg for more. And Nintendo's always just putting them on for a short amount of time. So to really lean into that and go full on like online competitive play with, the NES World Championships, I think this game's going to be like a sleeper for like one of their most popular games of the year, honestly.
Yeah, it reminds me of the NEX Remix pack that they put out for Wii U and the 3DS, because those were really popular too, right? And like, even though the Wii U didn't sell that much, that was still in like the top 25 games sold on the console. So
yep.
Man, the Wii U, mine's still plugged in over here, waiting to die its sad, lonely death when Twilight Princess and Wind Waker finally come over.
Right.
Well, everybody, we have an announcement of Fairy Tail 2, which is an anime. I really don't have much to say about that, you guys.
I mean, we could do a whole podcast on Fairy Tail 2, Ed, but we don't have time.
Okay.
I have so much to say.
I can actually say I've never seen the anime and I never read the manga for it, so I can't really give any information. But it's cool that they announced it for people who love that series. Fantasian Neo Dimensions.
Yes.
The rumor is true. And Square Enix is going to be developing this game. Publishing this game. This is Sakaguchi's, one of the creators of the Final Fantasy series. his team, developer made this game, but
Can't wait.
I think they said that he left Miss Walker.
He did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
I
His
don't know
name's
if
in the
it's true.
trailer. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess he developed it while he was there, but
yeah,
I
but
yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. Maybe he did. I didn't hear that, but man, this game is so cool. I mean, when this game got announced for iPhone like 5 years ago, it
yeah.
feels like at this point, like I was like, oh man, I wish there was some sort of console version for this. And then the rumor started last year that it was going to be ported to console eventually. I'm like, oh man, if this gets a Switch version, I'm going to be really excited. And then it got announced, and I'm just like, I'm in love with this game. Like, not, it's probably gonna be like a really hard 7, right? But just the way they developed it and how all of the environments are real life dioramas that they built by hand and
And
took
then
thousands and
scanned
thousands of pictures and scanned them in. Like,
and made the game. Like I did not know that information until people started talking about it. I'm like, wait, they did what? Amazing. Of course. Hopefully the soundtrack is banging. Like, I cannot wait to hear this game soundtrack. But it's like, it's definitely a must have for me. David, any thoughts?
No, I mean it's not one that I'm gonna play, but I think the thing about this direct is it was just so full of games for everyone that like it has something that you're gonna want to play, you know, and
Yes.
I think that's the beauty of what the Switch is. It's got a massive library, like an unbelievably large library, and it's to the point now where I think it's worth sort of debating, like, is Nintendo Switch the best library of any console ever? I mean, I think it is at this point. So no, that game
Yeah.
wasn't for me, but I'm happy for everyone that's happy about it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about for the JRPG community or the RPG community, like it's going to be a big holiday for them across pretty much all platforms. Definitely for Xbox and for Nintendo.
The backlog, Ed, it's going to be.
It's it is literally insane, and because right now we're at a point where when we get the rest of like release dates, definitely for Xbox, their first party, when we get the release dates for some of the Nintendo games, everybody's gonna be like, okay, where do I put my money at and everything? Because it's like, we got just to remind you guys, this is just 4 games. We got Indiana Jones, we got Avowed, we got Mario and Luigi, we got Echo. We got a certain Zelda game that we're going to get to dropping in September, which is the crazy thing because Link's Awakening remake dropped in September.
Almost
literally 2019.
5 years to the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And don't forget about the Elden Ring DLC that's coming out. I mean, this summer is just going to be, it's going to be hard to catch up on everything.
Yeah.
That's dropping this Friday.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. And that's just only 5 games. And we have, like, there's so much that we're eating. And we haven't even gotten to, like, 2025 with stuff yet. Like, just insane, just for the RPG community.
Speaking of Elden Ring, I heard I shouldn't say anything on the show because we already got a 2-star rating because we said we weren't into Elden Ring when it came out. So, anyways,
hey, I'll be playing the DLC. I'll be playing on Friday. Give us another star.
I just heard a really juvenile joke the other day on a podcast I was listening to. Somebody said more like smelled and ring turd tree or whatever it's called.
Dang it, Corey. That's another star.
Oh man. Jokes.
Well, everybody, basketball is coming to Nintendo Switch Sports, which I think looks really cool. That looks really fun, and everything. I think a lot of kids are going to get into it. Definitely, if it's like a rainy day and it's not hot or something, it feels like it'll be a cool game to play with friends and family, like on the weekend and stuff. To keep them active. So really looking forward to that. It's not available just now, but it'll be out sometime this year. Mio. Oh,
It's
go ahead, Corey.
it's really funny, these games, like, as much as we make fun of this and like 1-2 switch sometimes, and my nephews are obsessed with these games, so, and they're 9 and 11, 9 and 12. So I don't know. I mean, Nintendo knows what they're doing. Let's just put it that way.
Well, and just the gameplay style. I mean, obviously you've got the added level of motion, but like, I mean, I grew up playing NBA Jam against my friends, and it's like that sort of just kind of fun video gamey basketball, like against friends. I think it's kind of timeless. So I think it's a great addition. Why not add it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's free.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about it.
Well, you have to have Nintendo Switch Sports to play it, but
oh yeah.
But I mean, to be putting out updates
Yeah.
like that is
yeah,
great.
Yeah. We have Mio Memories in Orbit. It seems like this is kind of a Metroidist kind of adventure game. I believe it got announced sometime, I think last year or
it was
2
announced
years
last
ago.
year at some sort. It was announced last year at some point.
Yeah, and I think this is the first time they're showing gameplay for it, because I was just
so
like,
good.
oh, this is interesting. Yeah, I'm thinking of art style for this. I'm really liking it.
I'm excited for it. I mean, I love Metroidvania games, so this one like immediately caught my eye, and it made me hope that when Boss Rush goes to PAX West, that this will be one of the ones that we get to try. That's it looks like the kind of game that might show up there, so that's my hope.
Yeah,
I'm in prayer.
the movement really reminds me of Spectre of Torment, the Shovel Knight DLC.
Yeah,
and that it got me really excited. So, because I love that. I think that's the best thing Yacht Club has ever made, by the way. Shout out Spectre of Torment.
Yes.
And Yacht Club. Shovel Knight 2 in development. Yes. Sorry.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Disney Illusion Island is getting a free update with new challenges, like kind of like almost a new campaign, being like a detective. I'm super excited about this. And it's free. I finished Disney Illusions Island on Switch, and it literally is a top tier game. Like, it's really good. Like, I would give it an 8.5. Some of the puzzles and some of the stuff that you have to find kind of get a little bit tedious.
I don't know. That sounds mid.
But but this one, I love detective stuff, and so I'm super happy that this is coming on. And I think it's a game. I think this detective mode, is going to be a great game for like families playing together. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, you guys?
I mean, this is a game. So I have it, and I played a little bit of it, and I tried to get my kids into it. They were a little young last year. Well, my son still is pretty young, but my daughter is like, now she's getting into the point where she's like, she has better hand-eye coordination now, and she can kind of control the characters and jump at the same time. And we might try again soon, but she loved it. She just got frustrated because there's a lot of jumping, and she doesn't know how to jump and move at the same time. So we're working on that. We're working on it. But
okay. We have Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Any thoughts?
The only thought I had was the Warcraft South Park episode.
I will say it does look good, animated wise, like graphic wise. It does look good, and I know where they going for with the appeal for it.
It looks like Dollar General Animal Crossing.
Wow. I will leave that alone, but I will say that it does look good. David?
I mean, obviously Hello Kitty's its own brand, but I just had to kind of laugh that it's not, but it's kind of another cat game on Switch. I mean, it's like, it's not really a cat game, but like, Switch is kind of like the cat machine besides the Eevee machine.
We got two of them in this track.
Yeah.
Yes. We have Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. It looks good animated wise, and I'm going to leave it at that. I like the cell shaded kind of look to it. I'm being honest. I like the way that it looks. The cell shaded looks.
Did we watch the same trailer? Are you sure?
Yes.
Is this the one that Block was talking about in the Twitter chat?
Yeah.
It's by Game Mill, so it's probably trash.
Yeah.
This was one of those where I was just like, who asked for this game? I mean, is Looney Tunes still like? I mean, I know in my generation, but like, is that still a top seller? Is that?
I
Actually,
mean, this looks like I mean, that Space Jam movie came out what 2 years ago at this point. Like,
yeah.
this is like something that should have been Space Jam branded and probably come out when that movie came out, but instead
That's what.
it's not Space Jam branded and it's just Looney Tunes and
It's a weird choice. The only thing that came back for me is just, who is it? Is it like Universal that owns Looney Tunes? I can't remember which.
Warner Brothers.
Warner.
Warner Brothers. Okay, like everybody wants to get on Switch, right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's like you can put out a poorly timed game that has very little demographic, and someone will buy it from the Switch store.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
Yeah, but why would you waste your time on this when you have Multiverses that is out on everything else already? Like, that would have seemed like that would have been the choice to
Yeah.
put here, especially like to try to like Smash's run is kind of over, right? And so like you want to capitalize on that, like, oh, no more Smash characters and no more spirits, so like those Smash players need something to play. Why don't we put Multiverses out? And
I mean, unless Nintendo doesn't want direct competition with Smash Bros. But
I mean, that's
I mean,
also very
there's a
true.
lot of games that are on Switch that have that
that's
melee
true.
competition. So I think Nintendo's not worried about that. It's yeah.
This looked like that Bluey game that I played with my kids on the Switch. Like, it's the same developers too, and I'm like, oh, well,
Mhm.
that's clearly why.
Okay, do you guys remember though when we were kids how bad licensed games used to be? I mean,
So yeah,
Depending on who was making it, because if we're talking about licensed games, if Konami and Capcom's name was on it, you was getting some heat.
okay. But
But
like
if
your
you get
typical like
I would say starting in like the N64, GameCube, early 360, PS3 era, those were the games that were like, avoid these
Yeah.
at all costs. And then then we started getting like Batman Arkham and the Transformers, Cybertron games, which were awesome, and like
Yeah.
those were the games that kind of turned it around. And yeah, man, and now there's like a new standard for licensed games now, and it's like, oh man, then you get something like this, and it's like, well, not out of the woods yet. There's still
Yeah.
that.
and to let everybody know, this is for kids. So if it's a budget title, there's gonna be some parent who don't watch.
You know what
the
else
direct
is for
or don't
kids,
care
Ed?
about that.
Mario.
But some parents might not be trying to pay Mario money.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
then their kids shouldn't be playing video games.
Real
No.
quick, my favorite bad license game of all time. Do you remember Spot, the 7-Up game?
Yes, I
Oh my
played it
gosh.
on Super Nintendo. I played the Michael Jordan game on Sega Genesis by EA. I played a lot of Ren and Stimpy. I played Back to the Future, Friday the 13th. Oh, good.
I'm sorry, I got us off topic, but that one just popped up in my head.
Yeah. So, well, we have Among Us DLC coming, which me and Corey was talking about it. He was just like, yeah, they kind of announced the direct coming. I'm like, they did?
Yeah, they put
So-
they put that tweet out that said, see the trailer next week on Nintendo Switch, and
I
then
missed that.
and then they took it down because I mean, Nintendo probably like went after them, but they were like, yeah, that was leaked last week, like on Thursday. So like I was already prepared for a direct on Tuesday. Yeah, it was funny.
That's
It was
awesome.
really funny. Like
Yes.
that, it was the exact trailer that was in the direct. So funny. Stupid.
Our next one is Pharmagia, which I will say, Marvelous showed this last like a couple of weeks for their showcase presentation. It was like their first game that they announced. This one in the direct showed more gameplay and characters. Like they did more of a deep dive, and I like this. I like the way that it looks. The foxes that's with them when it's all together, like that's really cool. So I think they're trying to mix the Pokemon / farming genre crowd together to play this game. So I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to get some good sales. across the board, like for Japan and America. If it plays right, even if it's like an 8, feels if it feels even a little bit average, I think this game does have potential. Like I said, I'm loving the art style and the way that it looks, and I think this is a game that I would pick up and play.
I see the word farm and I immediately tune out. I've gotten to that point on the Switch.
I mean, yeah.
Now, Mary Helen on our writing team, that's like her jam. So,
yeah. But how many farms can you really run?
I mean, I don't know. She every time a new farming game comes out. I mean, more power to her. She writes like a whole review and everything. The last farming game I really gave my soul to was Animal Crossing, and once you're done, you're done. I can't.
I mean, to be fair, I'm obsessed with Disney Dreamlight Valley, so that's a whole bunch of farming.
And this one is kind of different because you farming to get your animals, like your team and stuff. So I think that's a lot of people called it it used to be that game from Tecmo in the anime, Monster something, where on PlayStation 1 you would load the
Monster
game.
Rancher?
Yeah. It's kind of in that kind of feel that people was calling it. I don't know if you ever heard about that, David.
I don't think so.
It was like a monster catching game, but like the way the game worked is like it would tell you to insert like an audio CD, and whatever audio CD you put in, it would generate a monster based off the music that was on that CD.
Yeah.
Oh, so interesting. Okay.
So you put like Mariah Carey or Bach or even like a house mix or something, it'll give you some kind of monster.
Yeah, it was weird. Kids will never know these days. Link up your Spotify playlist to get random monsters.
It was an interesting concept. I will say that much.
Oh man.
And then
called it.
Revealed.
Called it.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Corey.
Yes.
Speak on this, because I'm giving you the floor on this one.
Okay, I will. I did say that I called it, but I feel like this was a pretty easy layup for the Direct, because I think this is clearly the better of the two new 2D Donkey Kong games, and it was stuck on the Wii and the 3DS, and I'm like, they're very clearly trying to get as much of their IP in HD as possible, and they've kind of almost exhausted the Wii U library to move over. Ed, we've been talking about how they've just been cranking out GameCube games under our noses for so long at this point, and I mean, we did a whole segment on like there's like 30 GameCube games on the Switch, and like nobody even batted an eye, and so I think the Wii is a natural next step to start porting games over in HD, and this was a great second one, I guess, or third one or whatever, but it's great. I love Donkey Kong Country Returns. It's one of the few games I actually beat on the Wii, and I 100%ed the 3DS version, so it's great. Can't wait.
So I think the only one they don't have is Diddy Kong Racing.
Yes, I need that game.
Yeah, I think the Super Nintendo ones are on there. I think all three are on there, and then it's Donkey Kong Country.
I think some of the Game Boy ones are on there too. The thing, I mean, not that it would be that hard to do at this point, because there's already Microsoft games on Switch now, but like, they would have to go through Microsoft to get the licenses for the rare characters again, because that entire game except for Diddy Kong is rare characters.
It's interesting as remakes and remasters and HD have become such a part of the business world. I mean, the video game business model. Nintendo's got such a built-in advantage with generations of people feeling nostalgic over certain IPs or characters, and to have that library to draw from to then re-release and automatically sell games on your console. I mean, there's a few for other, for PlayStation and Xbox, but nowhere near the library of nostalgia that Nintendo has. So, as Nintendo's sort of just emptying the stables here to just put them over the top of PS2 as the all-time best-selling console, it feels like they're just like pulling classic after classic out. They're like, all right, how about Donkey Kong Returns? Like, just,
Yeah.
And
then like the classics, like the 2D classics or whatever, they're clearly just remaking. I mean, the Link's Awakening, who would have ever thought we were going to get any sort of like enhanced version of Link's Awakening,
Yes.
And here it is. It's like my favorite game on the Switch. Probably top 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Link's Awakening just holds such a special place in my heart. I mean, I have my original Game Boy copy back there, complete in box on my shelf. It's like, it means a lot to me in so many different ways. And the fact that we got that was so great. And, then we got Mario RPG, and we've gotten, a few other remakes of games of these 2D games or classic games. And it's great. It's awesome. Nintendo, they figured it out, right? I mean, we kind of figured at the end of the Wii U's life cycle that they've figured it out. Ed and I went back to some of those early episodes of Pow Block that Ed and I were doing, and they were where's the new Mario game? Oh, they're going to hold it for the next system. Where's the new, Zelda? Like, Zelda isn't out yet. Where is it? Oh, they're going to put it on the new system, or they're going to sell it on both or whatever. They're going to Twilight Princess this. And they ended up doing that. And and then holding those games for the Switch was such a great move, countered by the fact that they have, oh, well, we have a system that didn't sell, so we'll re-release these games with extra content one by one. Oh, we can do HD remasters of Skyward Sword or, these GameCube games, and we can sell those in between lulls of content. And like, oh, we only have one system to focus on instead of 3 now, so we can, kind of put all of our resources into one basket and make smart partnerships like with Koei Tecmo or Bandai Namco to have Hyrule Warriors and Smash Brothers ready and all these other things. It's they've figured it out, and they've done it so smartly and on not bloated budgets and overly produced, and it's just everything that they've put out has been pretty good to great to perfect this generation, right? There's very few stinkers, right? Kirby, get out of here. No, I hear those. The two kind of mainline games they put out were pretty good, but
well, and thinking back to. Oh, go ahead, Ed.
I was just gonna say that definitely with the Switch generation, with like their remakes and their remasters, like people were getting them, and I think it really became a big deal when Metroid Prime remaster came out, because once that dropped, everybody started talking about remasters on Switch.
If you don't have it physically, you better buy it now. It's going to sell out, and then it's going to be one of those games that costs double, at least double on second party market, third party,
and people who bought it digitally waited the 2 weeks for the physical to drop for Prime remaster. Then we got like the Pikmin series that came out that people went and got and everything.
And came out too.
Yeah, and it's just like with Switch, you're getting the best of both worlds. Like, yes, you do have these remasters and these remakes, but for some of them, if you want to see how they originally were, if they're available on NSO, people could go and play the stuff on NSO and get expansion pass and play that. Like, there's so much potential.
I can't wait to get to that
Switch
section.
There's so much potential on Switch that people just don't recognize and discuss, and it's crazy.
Well, here's the thing, right? And Ed, we've had this discussion too. The Wii U was the idea, right? The Switch is the proof of concept. The next console, I feel, is going to be this idea perfected, as long as it's backwards compatible.
Yes,
but I really truly think the next console is going to be the ideal machine for them, because all the power and all the things that we've heard and I've read and I've heard, don't tell anybody, that have just come out about it is like, the next system is. You think the Switch is special? The next console is going to be truly magnificent.
I mean, I'd go a step farther and say, what stops Nintendo from permanently being at this spot? I mean, like, this is the model that works. And you think a lot, I know the comparisons made a lot, but like to the iPhone, like the iPhone found a model that's great and it's just stayed there as sustained goodness. People love the Switch, and as long as they can find ways to pack power into that small system, and it sounds like they're doing that with Switch 2, and they just stay at that, tech development rate, I don't see why they ever lose their spot. I mean, it's yeah.
They still reign supreme with quality. That quality speaks for itself, regardless of what the rating and stuff is for reviews. If the quality is there, people are going to recognize that quality with it. And I know we didn't really touch much on this Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, but it's going to do numbers. People are going to get this.
It's the best one. It's probably a top 5 game on the Wii, I think, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not a Wii guy, but
because Tropical Freeze is on there, so we'll have Return and Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, we'll have them both.
Those two games. The only one that we don't have also is Donkey Kong Country 64, or Donkey Kong 64. That's the one we.
Is Donkey Kong 64 not on NSO?
Nope, it's not.
Oh.
I just checked, so
that surprised me. I wonder if there's some rare IP hidden in there that needs taken out before they emulate it or something.
I don't know.
Anyway,
think so.
Speaking of awesome remakes, Ed.
Yes, everybody. Dragon Quest III HD 2-Day remake has been announced, coming out November 16th. That is a week after Mario Luigi's Brothership. They also announced that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 is also coming to Nintendo Switch. That's what they're working on. So you will be able to play the trilogy. And it seems that if you play with 3, then you'll play 1 and 2 after, because 3 is supposed to be the start of the trilogy, and then 1 and 2 goes their own way. And yes, everybody, this game will be available for PS5 that I know of.
It's also on Xbox too.
On Xbox, okay. So, but we got the first gameplay reveal on Nintendo Switch, and I know Square Enix is just probably loving that people are going crazy for this game. I know their social media team is like checking out what people are saying on this game, because in return, I have put this on my Twitter. I was just like, Square Enix is crazy for not only releasing Final Fantasy VII, the second game for a remake, but I'm like, you got Visions of Mana that look crazy good on Xbox. Then you're dropping Dragon Quest 3 at the end of the year. And Square Enix is not eating good. And then Dawn Trails for Final Fantasy 14. And Square Enix is not eating good. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
And definitely the DLC for 16 came out earlier this year too.
And then Octopath Traveler 2 drop it on Xbox and PlayStation. Like, that's insane. And people are playing Octopath Traveler 2 and loving it. They were just like, oh, this is why the Nintendo community said that it should have got Game of the Year nominations, and because they're loving the game and they're going crazy over the music. Dragon Quest 3, I think it's going to be, once again, orchestrated music. It's going to be on and popping.
You know it's not popping, Ed. The next game.
Yes.
Confusion.
Any thoughts?
Okay, I mean, actually, I gotta say, I'll be buying it. My daughter is obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's, and so just the inclusion of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think there's also an Aliens Funko Pop in there, so
oh boy,
I know that it's just a money grab, but I might have to check it out just for the hilarity, and I know my daughter will want it. So
I actually laughed at this because I remember when Corey seen the Gears of War Funko Pop game, and he was just like, "Yes, it's Gears of War." Beep. It's a
Yeah.
Funko Pop game, and my soul had already jumped and out of my body and laughed.
That
Corey's
video is
reaction.
still online somewhere. I think it might be on the I think it might be on the Nerds Gone Rogue channel still,
Oh, I
because we
had
were
to go
doing the
watch
watch
it.
along that year, and like,
Yeah.
man, that was, oh my gosh, that was so
Uh,
disappointing. All I wanted was like, it was the year before Gears 5 was announced, and like they were releasing the remaster of the first game.
yeah.
And I was like, and then they, like, after that they went into like they just showed a brick wall with the Crimson Omen on it. I'm like, yes, Gears, finally. And then the chainsaw rips through the brick wall and it's a Funko Pop, and I'm like, let's use another word
Words.
that kind of sounds like Funko, but not.
Let's just say words.
Yes. Good times.
Yeah, but Funko Fusion, Funko Fusion is going to be an interesting game. No,
It's
I
not
told
hurting
Corey,
anybody, Ed. Leave
hold
it
on.
alone.
I told Corey, I was just like, Funko Fusion is quaint. I'm just saying. But Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, definitely getting that game. That just reminded us. The new Dimpa Man, some people are crazy for it. It looks silly, it looks fun. I don't remember this game. I think it was a
Well, this is the
3DS
new
or
one,
DS
Ed.
game.
This is
Yeah.
the new one.
Metal Slug Attack Reloaded is a tower defense game. It's
Yes.
not the one that they showed previously that still haven't came out. Yeah, Tactics. I like this one. This one looks fun. It looks like it's gonna be a bunch of comedy and everything. Everybody, it's not a roguelike or anything. It's a tower defense game.
Yeah, get that out of here.
And then Darkest Dungeon 2, people were just like, okay.
I thought this was out on Switch already, to be honest.
I thought so too.
I don't know.
And then the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack added 4 games. So the first one they showed was A Link to the Past plus 4 swords for Game Boy Advance.
Good.
Metroid Zero Mission. Baby, yes!
It's
this
so good.
is
It's the best. It's the best. It's the best one. It's the best one.
Yeah, I love Zero Mission.
Zero Mission so good. I love Zero Mission so much. It like, I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like, man, this almost looks like a remaster. It looks so good. Like the pixel art is so good. It's like it's like a step above Super Metroid. Like, it's just, I love it. I love it.
On the Wii U and on my GBA, and now I can, another reason not to touch my Wii U.
Yeah.
Well, this
poor guy.
Just to let everybody know, we have all 5 games now on Switch. We have Metroid and Metroid Fusion. We have The Return of Samus. We have Super Metroid. We have
Dread.
Metroid 4 Fusion or Metroid Fusion, and then we got Metroid Dread. Like, insane. And on top of Metroid Prime. And when we get to the end of the game, I'll talk more about that, because I think that there's more possible Metroid games that could come. That's outside of Prime 2 and 3. For it.
Like Federation Force?
Yeah. Give me Federation Force 2.
Federation Force, Metroid Hunters, because I never got to play Hunters.
And that's Silex is like the main villain of Hunters.
Yeah.
So,
but it is so okay. Well, I'll talk about it when we get to the next game. I have some thoughts on this the multiplayer aspect of things.
Okay. So, and then we got Nintendo 64 Mature 17 Plus app that you guys can download free. If you have an expansion pass, you will see the games pop up. They have Turok and they have Perfect Dark. Smart move on Microsoft and Nintendo coming together to make Perfect Dark happen. I think this is their second game. No.
Third.
Actually,
well, I think there's more than that now, because
no.
Blast
so
Core. Jet Force
Black
Gemini,
Jet Force Gemini, GoldenEye 007,
Banjo Kazooie,
Banjo Kazooie. That's
and Perfect Dark.
4.
Yeah, that's 5.
And Perfect Dark is 5. Yeah, so those are the 5 rare games. And since Microsoft has brought Rare, those IPs belong to them. But they allow them to be on Nintendo Switch. Once again, Microsoft and Nintendo having a good relationship. I love that. Hopefully
Good.
they continue to go on.
Where's the Halo Master Chief Collection on Switch?
Oh wow. But I never got to play Perfect Dark on Nintendo 64. So I'm excited to play it for the first time for it. Now, David, you said you had thoughts on the multiplayer.
Yeah. Okay, so for folks who are passionately in the Zelda community, it's pretty common knowledge that The Legend of Zelda Four Swords is one of the hardest to be able to play because you have to link up a bunch of, Game Boy Advances, and it literally costs a lot of money to have the right setup and everything, let alone having friends that will spend the time playing it with you. It's great that it's on Nintendo Switch Online. It should have happened a long time ago. And if you have 4 friends that want to play online, it's great. But I jumped on immediately after the Direct, and I don't know if there's a plan long term to make matchmaking so you can play with strangers who also want to play, or but like it's frustrating. Like, I feel like that would have been an easy thing to make it available to everyone instead of having to manually have 3 other friends join you to be able to play this game together. Most online services have some sort of matchmaking. I don't know why Nintendo can't do a better job with their Switch Online. So just a personal complaint for somebody who's waited so long. It's the only mainline Zelda game I haven't played and beaten, and it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I remember buying that game because I was like, I'm gonna buy a second Game Boy Advance. I'm gonna have 2 of these link cables. I have 4 swords. I have I'm ready. I'm ready. Nobody wanted to play with me, and let me tell you, it is not really a game you're supposed to play by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, we're going to take a little bit detour because we kind of need to get to these 2 games for our guests. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom was revealed. It has the Link's Awakening art style. We called it the Playmobil art style. If you look at it, the way that it started, even when you see Link's shield, you're just like, oh wow, okay. So I'm thinking, oh, this is like, at first I thought it was Link Between Worlds. I'm just like, wait a minute, hold on, no, that didn't happen in Between Worlds and stuff. And then, as the trailer is going, Link is falling through this dark hole. He uses his arrow to break the crystal that Zelda is in. It cracks a little bit more. It drops. She's walking around, and then you start seeing her move. Meaning you control her. She keeps walking. You hear this gorgeous music arrangement, and you look up, and it just zooms out, and you see the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and everybody's entire soul fell out their body and escalated to heaven.
You know that shot, right? Did you compare it to the Breath of the Wild shot? It's the same shot.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought they were remaking the first one because I saw Link fighting Ganon, like the Zelda 1 version of Ganon.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, this would be cool if they're remaking the first game. What a way to end the Switch's life cycle of like, oh well, Breath of the Wild is highly inspired by the first game, and then you're just gonna put the first game out in this remake. Oh, I would have loved that too. Yeah, but I'm like, oh, this is cooler.
So yeah, we finally got playable Zelda, and I thought, you watched it, David, but you weren't able to watch it with us. Me and Stephanie already escalated to like heaven.
Yeah.
We sat down, we had some talks with God and them, and then we came back because we were just like, this cannot be happening. That we're getting to this game. Oh, it's going to sell 1+ million when it comes out. Like,
it's probably gonna sell 5-ish.
Easy. Yeah. Maybe more.
And then Nintendo smacked our souls right back out of our bodies by showing that Nintendo like
The Switch
Zelda.
Lite
Yeah.
custom.
Yes. And everybody was just like, I don't need one when it's the
Sure you
pre-order
do.
date for it.
Yeah.
So David, bless us with your opinion.
Ah,
What do you feel about this
Bless us with
game?
your opinion.
And I'm telling you right now, we need the amiibo, Nintendo. Do not
oh
play with
yeah.
us.
They already said it's amiibo compatible, so yeah, that's coming for sure. No, I'm thrilled by it. I mean, it shows Nintendo's willing to listen to fans. We've been asking for a long time for a playable Zelda. I thought they did it in a smart way with so much, shall we say, divisiveness online over female leads. To do it, in a mainline game, but in a top-down Zelda was kind of a creative way to go about it. It kind of sidesteps some of the blowback I think that would have happened if it was like a 3D release, but still gives it the legitimacy of a mainline game. I'm thrilled for the game. I think having Zelda use her powers of wisdom and almost be like a mage, I think is brilliant. I think the gameplay looks fun. They preserved a lot of the creativity from the era of the Wilds games. It's hard to complain, but I'm going to. I'm going to complain only because I've been dying for A Link Between Worlds to show up on Nintendo Switch Online. And what I thought when I saw it at first that we were finally getting that. But then as soon as I saw we're getting a full new game, it's like, okay, well, I'm thrilled beyond thrilled that that's there. So, I'm more than happy to let my grudge go. But I felt like they played with me just for a second there because I was real excited about that. But no, the gameplay looks great, and it looks like, we'll see. It looks like a return to the map from A Link to the Past, which I'm also thrilled about. That's probably my all-time favorite Zelda game. So, I'm thrilled. I'm excited.
Yeah, because I was trying to wonder, is this does this supposed to be taking place in the Link to the Past world? Because I think Link's Awakening does the same thing. I believe.
Well, no,
even though it's
Link's
a dream
Awakening's,
land.
in like sort of a dream island, but
Yeah.
the last time we were in this Hyrule would have been Triforce Heroes and A Link Between Worlds.
Okay.
So there's technically 3 mainline games. If you count Triforce Heroes, but it is an official mainline game. So
Okay.
if it's back in that Hyrule, this would be the 4th sort of in that space.
Yes. Okay.
I hope there's a Wand of Gamelon reference in here.
Yes. Corey, any thoughts about this game?
I think it looks great. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys haven't said that I would be excited for. I am wondering if this is the new art style they're going to go with for top down for another game or two. I think the one thing about Zelda is that it's very adaptable to different art styles very clearly. We've seen that over the years, and I loved this for Link's Awakening, and I hope that this game is I hope this game lives up to the Link's Awakening remake, because I think this art style is awesome. I love it. I do hope we get an amiibo, because my Link's Awakening amiibo needs a buddy.
Yeah, and I think this should be Grezzo, because I know there was rumors of them doing another Zelda game, but nothing was confirmed until we got this trailer. So I think definitely, I would say probably with the assets and everything, they probably made it easier to use some assets and put it into their art style, merge that, and then just bring out this beautiful world that we don't fully know yet. Because we don't know if there's going to be dungeons. We don't know if there's going to be extra weapons and stuff. Shout out to Shang. He sent out a nice joke that was really funny. David, there is a cool, because they was just like, after the trailer came out, all the fan art started dropping. People started doing creative fan art. So there's a fan art. If you think of Breath of the Wild, when Link was trying to get Zelda after she was falling, there's a switched around part where Link is doing this
Mm-hmm.
and Zelda is going to get him like that. And
I
it's
loved it.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little chibi thing. I'm like, that's so cool. So shout out to the Zelda fan art community for making it.
They
Like,
were on it fast.
they were
Yeah.
on it quickly.
The last thing I want to say too before we move on is just about the engine and how this is a similar art style. I do remember right like when Tears of the Kingdom was kind of first revealed, they said that they built an engine to sustain multiple games because
Mhm.
they didn't want to have to restart from scratch every time, and that's why it kept taking so long. Now, ironically, it took Tears of the Kingdom longer than ever to come out, but maybe that's why they're doing this art style again, is because that engine is, they've only used it once, and this could, potentially be that for at least for remakes or sequels to older games or something would be cool.
Yeah. So, and then they ended the show. And
I can't believe what I watched.
When I tell you our mouse was gapped, our jaws was open. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Yeah.
And we everybody knew that it was Metroid after it said like the Galactic Federation and stuff. And then you see the ship from Corruption, Metroid Prime 3, and Samus flipping down and everything. And she kind of cocks her gun, and then you hear that music. And then you see her from the first point of view. And this is not no empty world. I think what we're experiencing is the first part of the game, and everything. You see this big laser hit this gun, big explosions, and it's running an engine, and it's just like this game is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
This really reminded me of Halo 4 a lot.
Yes,
like, just how like gritty mixed with like the bright colors of like like the neon colors of the weapons in the HUD and all that stuff, like and that was like a big thing. Was remember a lot of the Prime team went to 343 to work on Halo 4, and then they left to go back to retro to do this.
yeah. And then like the stories where people go back, like they got people from the Call of Duty teams, they got people from Battlefield, and it's just like, oh, this is there's something about the artwork. It's very detailed, and it's different from what the Prime games look in the past. So I know they restarted everything. I really wonder how. I wonder how they went about this. Like, what is this style? What is this? Is it an art direction
cool.
kind of thing?
That's what it is. It's cool.
I mean, it's super cool, and we know that Nintendo loves purple. Purple represents dark or their poison and stuff. And they played around in echoes with the light world and the dark world and stuff. And so when you see the Beyond, the wording is purple, and then you see like in the back it's like a purple kind of looking ship little thing. And they got the silver. So I don't know if they're playing with light and silver. Don't know. I mean, light and dark. Don't know yet. But then when they showed that 2025 and you just see that jungle, that whole thing, I was just like, okay, someone from Monolith Soft came in and did some artwork, because retro is not known for this. Monolith Soft is, retro is not. That thing was gorgeous. I'm like, I need to find this so this could just be my computer background. This is insane. I need it, definitely retro Nintendo. I'm gonna fight y'all if I don't get an art book for this game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to pop off like that. This game is too gorgeous to have. I mean, and everything. And of course, me and Larry from World War One, we've been talking, having theories and stuff. And I just cannot. I put on my Twitter, I was just like, there's about to be multiple discussions just from this trailer of what could possibly be happening. And I know everybody's saying that it's going to probably be happening on Switch 2. Nintendo has
a big Switch logo right on the trailer. I'm looking at it right now. Switch logo. So David, how do you feel? You're the Metroid guy here.
Yeah, I mean, well, what's funny is I my love is 2D Metroid. I've only played through the first Metroid Prime, which was incredible. The remaster was great. But I mean, I'm all in on this. I'm very excited about it, and we'll be planning on getting it. I definitely think it's going to be cross generation for sure. And I even though there's a Switch logo on it, I don't know for certain that what we're seeing isn't footage from Switch 2. I mean, I think it's entirely possible, that we're seeing. But then again, seeing how great the Metroid Prime remaster was, the first one, I mean, you wouldn't have thought that game was on Switch. So, they're definitely getting the most out of their hardware, at the end of its life, and, showing everybody they can do more with less. So it's a huge win. And man, they knew they had something, saving that till the end. And boy, I think that really, for me, made that maybe, if not the best direct ever, maybe the top 2 best Nintendo directs.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I will say I do like the reticle that they're using now, like that triangle on the side kind of reticle. And I love the fact that when you're scanning, it's a big circle that goes around like that. That's super clean. Yeah, I like the decisions that they go with. And if people don't notice that Samus doesn't lose her powers. It literally starts like, I think she just gets the missiles. I think that might be one of her powers, and then it just goes into the cutscene. So we don't know what this new game, like this new world or wherever she's gonna be at. I don't know if there's gonna be new powers for it.
Yeah. Well, the one theory I heard too is that this you're alluding to the purple being like evil, bad, poison, whatever. Some astrophysicist guy on Twitter it's being retweeted like thousands of times at this point, put out the telemetry of a black hole and how the purple inside the logo looks just like the inside of a black hole, and they were like doing measurements and all this stuff inside the logo. I'm like, that's weird that somebody took the time to do that, but also kind of cool. So people have weird hobbies.
So
David, do you want to talk about anything that we missed before we end? Because I know we gotta.
Yeah, no, I mean, my final thought is I am, in addition to being bitter about Link's Awakening, Link Between Worlds not being on Switch, I mean, no Mario Baseball. Come on, Nintendo. What is it going to take? You think the wait for Metroid Prime 4 was long? Okay, the last Mario Baseball was like 13 years ago. Okay,
I mean, well, David, we still got one. We still got a fall/winter direct for 2025.
I'm ready to put my clown face on.
Look, my clown face is on every time I say Arms 2 is coming, and it hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, I know. Oh, good times. Arms 2.
But I have hope. I have hope.
It's one of us.
So.
All right, Ed, get us out of here. There were other games, but they weren't important. These were the 2 big ones that we wanted to get to, really.
Well, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Collection All-Star. Yeah.
Which Xbox didn't get. Just
I know.
That out.
Yes. They'll probably get that.
I
before we do go, I do want to say the Miles Edgeworth game. I'm happy that got announced. Those 2 games never came to America. So pretty much once that come out, besides Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, most of the Phoenix Wright games will be out. So I'm super excited that Miles Edgeworth came out. That is a big highlight for me personally, because I actually get to play it.
Nice.
But with that, everybody, David, thank you for joining us for this Nintendo Direct recap. It was so great. It's good to see you and hear from you. Everybody, please go read his material on bossrich.net. And if you want to join the writing team, get in touch with him.
Thank you guys. Yeah, happy to be here.
Ed or David, we miss you around here on the video audio side of things.
Well, we make it happen more often. It's summer now, so
yeah,
we'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah.
Yes. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you on the next Nintendo Direct recap show. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.